He wasn't buried alive, he was buried with her. The dirt tasted like rust. Liam choked as it hit the back of his throat, wet, gritty, thick like copper syrup. He tried to spit, but barely had room to move his jaw. Panic lit up his chest. His arms were pinned tight against his sides. His legs were stiff, unmoving. His head pressed against something solid above him, wood, smooth, curved, close. He was in a coffin. No, the sound came out like a cough, swallowed by the damp, heavy air. The air, it smelled wrong. Not just of soil and rot, but something sweeter, older, lilac. His breath caught. That smell hadn't touched his nose in over 5 years. Not since. A soft voice slithered through the dark. You said you'd never leave me. He froze. There was something with him lying inches away, in the tight, suffocating dark. A body, pressed against his side, not cold, not warm, just there. He tried to scream. The dirt around him muffled everything. The walls of the coffin echoed his cry like a sick joke, a cage of wood and finality. He kicked, or tried to. His foot hit something soft, and it moved. Get me out, he gasped. God, get me out of here. The thing next to him stirred again, a rustle of hair, the whisper of breath against his cheek, then a hand, gentle, grazing his jaw. I waited. You promised no, Clara. His voice broke. Clara, no? No. 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 But her name was the wrong thing to say. The whisper turned into a giggle, broken, breathy, muffled by soil. I knew you'd come back to me. I just had to wait long enough. A memory struck him like a blow to the chest. 5 years ago, she'd died, or at least, everyone thought she did. Car wreck, on the mountain pass, rain, thunder. He was driving. She was screaming. Then impact. They never recovered her full body. Not enough to show he told the police she was dead. He told everyone she'd died on impact, but that wasn't true. Not entirely. She had been alive, trapped in the wreckage, barely breathing, and he'd walked away. He told himself it was a mercy. The fire had been coming, the gas leaking, the rain too loud to hear her cries. But in truth, he'd just left. And then he lied. The funeral was closed casket. No one questioned it, not even when he refused to let them see her. He buried her, alone, in a grave outside town, somewhere no one would look. And now, somehow, he was in there with her. I'm sorry, Liam sobbed. Clara, please, I didn't mean to. You left me in the dark, she said, her voice strange now, distant, childlike. I was cold for so long. Her hand traced his throat. He jerked away, but there was nowhere to go. A low scratching sound began, faint at first, rhythmic. It wasn't from inside the coffin. It was coming from above it, something digging, or clawing. I dreamt you'd come back, she said, and now you're here, just like I always hoped. He bucked upward, slamming his head against the lid. The coffin creaked. More dirt rained in around the edges. The scratches grew louder, faster. Dozens of nails, tearing at the earth. Or not nails, fingers. He screamed again, but his voice cracked like brittle bone. A fingernail scraped down his neck. He could feel her smiling. I told them you'd come. They didn't believe me. Who? He gasped. Who did you tell? The others. He couldn't stop shaking. The pressure on his chest was unbearable. Every breath grew shorter. What others? The ones down here, with me. He felt it then, a movement beneath his back. Hands, fingers, grasping. He wasn't just buried with Clara. There were others buried with them, and something about that made his blood run colder than anything yet. Suddenly, her lips brushed his ear. They never forgave you either. He wanted to fight. He had to. He shifted his knee, forced a little room. His hand pressed against her stomach, trying to push her away, but his fingers sunk into her like mud. He yanked his hand back. It was slick with something that wasn't blood, or water, or flesh. It was wrong, sludgy, cold. Clara didn't feel like a person anymore. He sobbed. Clara, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I was scared. You lied, she said. You buried me like garbage. Now we're together, forever. The coffin groaned. A loud snap cracked above them, the lid bowing under pressure. From above, or from within, he couldn't tell. Then the scratching stopped, replaced by digging. Fast, frantic, urgent, and voices. Whispers. Children, women, men, dozens of voices whispering in unison, speaking his name. Leo, Leo, Leo. They weren't saving him, they were welcoming him. He tried to scream, but something slid into his mouth. A finger, soft, cold, Clara's, She whispered. It's almost time. She kissed his lips, and her mouth kept going, skin peeling back, teeth clicking against his, her tongue far too long, tasting of dirt and rot and grief. Then light, a sliver of white broke through the side of the coffin as the wood cracked. A face peeked through. Not a rescuer, another woman. Pale, sunken eyes, no lips, just teeth. She grinned at him. Room for one more, she said. Liam screamed until his throat gave out, but no one heard, except the dead, the people beneath the cemetery. Liam didn't wake up. He was dragged awake by air. Cold, fast air, rushing over his face like a slap as he was pulled violently from the coffin. Something had cracked. It opened and yanked him out with a force that didn't feel human. His lungs burned as he gasped, coughing up soil, mucus, and what tasted like blood. For a moment, the stars spun above him. Moonlight, tree branches, gravestones. He was in a cemetery, but it wasn't any cemetery he knew. The tombstones here weren't stone. They were wooden, charred, split, carved with symbols that didn't look like language. And around each grave, ropes hung from trees. Empty. Nooses. Liam choked on a scream and tried to crawl away, but his body was too weak. The soil clung to him like wet cloth. Then he saw her. Clara. Standing, barefoot on the edge of the grave he'd just been pulled from. Her face was exactly how he remembered it. Beautiful, gentle, but her eyes were sunken, and her smile was far too wide. You look just like I remember you, she said sweetly. He shook his head, trembling. You're not real. You're dead. So are you. No, I'm not. I'm alive. This isn't happening. This is some nightmare. You were alive, Clara said, cocking her head, until you were pulled down into my world. And Liam, her voice grew darker. In my world, no one gets out. He tried to stand, and his legs buckled. His hands sank into the mud, but the mud wasn't just dirt. It was hands, pale, writhing fingers pushing up from beneath the soil, grabbing his wrists. And then the faces came, half-rotted, broken, crying, people buried alive, clawing upward, eyes rolled back, mouths moving without sound. He scrambled back. No, get off me. But Clara just watched, head tilted, almost amused. They were like me, Liam, left behind, forgotten, lied about. You're not the first man who buried the truth. One of the corpses dragged itself halfway up from the earth, a chain still wrapped around its neck. It wasn't attacking him, it was pleading. Eyes wide. It mouthed the words, help us. And then Liam saw the others. Shadows standing behind the trees. Figures in black faces wrapped in cloth, holding lanterns that burned with blue flame. They weren't human. Their arms were too long. They didn't move. They glided. Clara's smile dropped as they approached. Even she stepped back. No, she hissed. Not yet. He's still mine. One of the robed figures raised a bony finger and pointed at Liam. And all the corpses screamed at once. It was deafening, a psychic scream that bypassed his ears and went straight into his skull. Liam dropped to the ground, covering his head. Blood leaked from his nose. The air warped. The ropes in the trees tightened. Swinging slowly, he was going to pass out. Then a hand grabbed his ankle and yanked him backward, not into the ground, into the dark. When he opened his eyes again, he was somewhere else entirely. A stone tunnel, gold, wet, carved with symbols that glowed faintly, not with light, but with wrongness. The smell was unbearable. Mold, decay, and something sweet, like rotting fruit. He was lying on an old bed of straw. His clothes were soaked, his fingernails torn. Someone was sitting in the shadows, watching him. A woman, not Clara, older, wrinkled, eyes like storm clouds. Don't move, she said. Liam froze. The woman approached slowly, limping on one leg. Her hands trembled as she held out a wooden bowl filled with cloudy water. He took it, hands shaking, drank. It was bitter, but warm. She sat down across from him, beside a torch that gave off no smoke. You're lucky I was watching, she said. Few people come back from her. He swallowed hard. You saw Clara? The woman nodded. And the others? The ones buried in that cemetery? She leaned forward. They weren't all victims. Some of them were monsters too. He frowned. What is this place? Where the hell am I? She gave a sad smile. You're in the veiled hollow, a fold beneath the waking world, a place that exists between guilt and death. He stared. That's not real. That's insane. Then why are you here? He had no answer. She pulled something from her coat, a shard of mirror. When she held it up to him, he gasped. His face, it was fading, pale, thin, almost see-through. "Clara's got you halfway," the woman said. "Another night down there, and she would have eaten your soul clean. But she was the victim," Liam said quietly. "I left her, I buried her." The woman's voice was cold now. "You murdered her, don't sugarcoat it." Liam's throat tightened. "I didn't mean to, I panicked. Intent doesn't matter down here," she said. "Only what you did." Liam's eyes filled with tears. "So I deserve this." She didn't deny it, but then her tone softened. "Everyone deserves a chance to make it right, even monsters." "How?" he whispered. She handed him something wrapped in cloth. He opened it. Inside was a nail, rusted, blackened, bent, drive. "This into her heart," the woman said. "What?" "It's iron from her grave, dug from her casket. As long as it touches her heart, she can't hold you anymore. Her tether breaks." He stared at it. "What if I miss?" The woman didn't blink. "Then you become part of the hollow, forever." Later that night, he crept back into the cemetery. The woman had vanished. No trace left behind. The fog returned, thick, silent, unnatural. The nooses swung again. As if sensing his return, he followed the trail back to the grave. It was open. Now, gaping, waiting. He climbed in. The soil closed around him like wet cloth. Clara was waiting in the coffin, smiling. "You came back," she whispered. He nodded, tears running silently down his cheeks. "That makes me happy," she said. She reached for him. He let her hold him, let her breathe against his throat, let her lips graze his skin. Then he stabbed the nail into her chest, straight through her ribs, into her heart. Her eyes went wide. The smile shattered, and she screamed, but not in pain, in rage. "Traitor!" She shoved him, and the coffin exploded, not with fire, but with memories. He saw her dying again, felt the cold of that night, the car upside down, her broken body. He had walked away. She had screamed his name until her voice broke, and still, he had left her. The guilt crushed him like a mountain. But then, he saw the nail glowing. The iron burning, and Clara began to fade. Her skin flaking away, her voice becoming smaller. "I waited for you. I loved you. Why didn't you come back?" And then she was gone. The coffin splintered, the grave crumbled, and Liam was standing alone in the cemetery. The trees were gone, the ropes vanished, the graves empty. Just a flat field of dirt under a silver sky. The wind blew. He breathed. For the first time in years really breathed. But as he turned to leave, he noticed something. One gravestone remained new, wooden, freshly carved. It read, "Liam Grant." The guilt buried him deeper than the grave ever could. And under that, in tiny, scratched letters, "Some ghosts only die when you do." The house without mirrors, the grave with Liam's name on it, stayed, burned into his mind, even after the cemetery vanished, even after the sky turned from silver to bruised purple, even after the strange door appeared in the middle of the field, a door with no walls, standing upright, covered in deep scratches, not random. They were fingernail marks. He didn't want to touch it, but the ground behind him had begun to sink. He could hear voices beneath the dirt, again calling, whimpering, "Liam, come back." He stepped through the door. And woke up in his childhood bedroom, not like it had been, like it was now. Present day, the posters had faded, but they were still on the wall. His old bed, the cracked window, the dresser with the broken knob. He was home. No fog, no ghosts. Just the distant sound of wind chimes. But the relief only lasted a second, because when he looked in the mirror above the dresser, he saw nothing. His reflection was gone. He staggered backward. The mirror was clean. No dust, no cracks, but it didn't show him, not even a shadow, just the room behind him, empty. And then the reflection blinked. Not the room, not the window, the mirror. It blinked on. Liam felt a cold hand press against the back of his neck. He spun, nothing. But when he looked again, his reflection was back. Only, now, it wasn't mimicking him. It was grinning, wide, teeth wrong, too sharp, too many. It leaned closer, eyes black and bleeding. Then it whispered, "She's not the only one you left behind." The mirror shattered. A single shard flew forward and sliced. His cheek. Blood dripped to the floor, and the house began to change. The posters on the wall peeled back, revealing scratched writing underneath. He watched it happen. He said nothing. He let it burn. The wind chimes outside grew louder, faster, angrier, and the front door burst open with a bang. Someone ran inside. Footsteps thundered down the hallway, up the stairs, straight toward his room. Thump, 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 thump. He slammed the door and locked it. Too late. The door melted in front of him, turned black and dripped like tar. And she walked through. Not Clara, his mother, but not the way she was before the fire. Now her skin was melted wax, peeling off in sheets. Her dress still burned. Her hands were blackened stumps, but her eyes were alive. "Why didn't you save me?" she asked. He fell to the floor, shaking. "You died in your sleep. You didn't feel anything. Liar." She pointed at him. "You locked the door, Liam." "I was screaming. You told them I never woke up, but I did. I did." He covered his ears. "I was a kid. I didn't know what to do. You knew enough to lie." And then she smiled, her teeth falling from her gums like cracked porcelain. "But that's not even the worst thing you did." He looked up, confused. "You want to be free?" she whispered. "But you've never been clean." She vanished into ash. And something slid out from under the bed. A hand, small, pale, a child's hand. Then came the voice. "Liam." He froze. He knew that voice. "Can I come out now? It's cold." He remembered the closet, the one in the old cabin, the one he and his friends had gone to during that storm when they were teenagers. The game they played, Bloody Murmur. He remembered the dare they'd locked the youngest kid, Jason, in the closet, and told him not to scream no matter what he heard. But Jason had screamed, begged, pounded the door for 10 minutes, then gone quiet. They thought he was faking. When they opened it, he was gone, never seen again. That was 17 years ago, and now his voice was back. "Liam, I waited like you said. Did I win?" The hand on the floor grew longer. The fingers bent backward. Another hand joined it. Then a face. Jason. Or what used to be Jason. His eyes were sewn shut with red thread. His mouth was a cavern, a black hole, and when he smiled, you heard children screaming inside it. Liam crawled backward, heart thundering in his chest. Jason crawled forward, slowly, calmly. "You told them I ran away," he said softly. "You told the cops I was never there. You never even looked for me." The hallway filled with laughter. Dozens of voices. Some he knew, some he didn't. Every lie, every betrayal, every choice he'd buried was alive now. He ran down the hall, past the mirror, down the stairs. The house twisted around him, the walls stretching, doors where windows should be, no exit. Until a crack in the floor. Small, barely wide enough, but it glowed, a soft red light, and he heard a new voice, old, gentle, familiar. Double quotes. "Liam's son. You've come so far. Don't stop now." His father, dead, 5 years gone before he could explain everything. Liam dropped to his knees and reached for the light. "Dad, one more step." The voice whispered. "Come back to the real world, but leave them all behind. Don't look back." He hesitated, then heard Jason's scream behind him. The house shuddered. The closet door upstairs exploded open, and the mirror laughed. He jumped into the crack. He woke up in a hospital bed. Real. Clean. Right light. Machines beeping. A nurse gasped. "He's awake, get the doctor." They told him he'd been in a coma for 2 weeks. Found unconscious on the side of a rural road. Barely breathing. No signs of trauma. No car nearby. He just kept mumbling the same thing over and over in his sleep. Clara's watching. His hands were intact. No wounds. No grave dirt. But his cheek still bore the scar. From the mirror shard. He didn't talk for the first 3 days. Then finally, when the nurse brought in a mirror so he could shave, he shattered it. Without thinking. Didn't even remember doing it. They moved him to psychiatric evaluation. That's when he met Dr. Sarah Whitlock. Young. Calm, sharp-eyed. She didn't ask him to explain the trauma. She just asked what he remembered. And for the first time in his life, Liam told the truth. About Clara, about his mother, about Jason. She didn't flinch, just listened, took notes, and finally said, "Guilt is a prison, but sometimes it's also a map." He asked her what she meant. She smiled sadly. "You're not the only one who's seen what's under the surface. Some of us have made the journey." And she pulled something from her pocket, wrapped in cloth, a rusted nail. Liam backed away. "Why do you have that?" She didn't answer, but when she stood, he saw her reflection in the window. It didn't match her. The reflection was taller, skinnier, smiling, and behind her, In the glass stood a little boy, eyes sewn shut, grinning wide. The reflection game. The boy with sewn eyes stood in the window's reflection, smiling. Liam blinked, looked again. The window now showed only his own pale, terrified face. Dr. Whitlock stood there, still holding the rusted nail in her palm like it was a sacred relic. She noticed his stare. "You saw him again, didn't you?" Her voice was calm, too calm. Liam's throat tightened. What is that thing?" "Jason, he's not real. I imagined him." Dr. Whitlock shook her head slowly. "Jason is real. He's part of the hollow. They live in mirrors, in guilt, in silence. We feed them by forgetting." She placed the nail on the desk between them. This was pulled from the mouth of a survivor, one who escaped the reflection game. Liam recoiled. "What game?" "The one you started when you locked Jason in that closet." Her eyes didn't blink. "You didn't just leave him to die. You opened a door, one that's stayed open ever since." The room darkened. Not physically, the lights were on, but something shifted. The shadows moved wrong. A distant sound started, like humming, childlike, broken. "There's something you need to see," Dr. Whitlock whispered. She turned the desk lamp toward the mirror in the corner. At first it was just a reflection of the two of them. Then, movement, a flicker behind Liam, a woman, burned, dressed in melted lace. His mother. He bolted to his feet, knocking over the chair. No nitrogen monoxide. I buried her." Dr. Whitlock didn't move. Her voice was softer now. "Some things don't stay buried, especially when they're waiting for the truth." Liam backed into the corner. The mirror grew darker. His reflection was gone. Again, and something crawled across the glass from the inside, like a wet spider. Jason's face appeared, upside down. "Hi, Liam." Liam screamed. They sedated him, strapped him down. He woke up in a different room. No mirror, just padded walls and a steel door and silence. He lay there, trembling, until a soft knock echoed from behind the door. "Liam," a child's whisper, familiar. He shut his eyes tight. "You're not real. You're not real. Do you remember the rules?" The voice said. His eyes flew open. A single word was scrawled on the wall in blood. "RAF Licity." Then the door creaked open. A boy walked in. Jason, alive, unharmed, eyes normal, hair messy, hands trembling. He looked just like he had the day he vanished. Liam stared, heart thundering. "How?" Jason sat cross-legged on the floor. "We played the game. Remember? I knocked. You didn't open the door." Liam crawled away from him. Jason tilted his head. "You never came back. I waited so long." He held up a mirror shard, wrapped in cloth, the same one that had cut Liam's face. "They let me come back, but only to finish the game." The lights flickered. Jason's face began to change. His mouth widened, unnaturally. His skin turned gray, wet. And his voice layered. "No longer alone." Dozens spoke through him. "You left us. You watched us burn. You lied." The room split open. The walls tore like paper, revealing a mirror world behind them, a reflection of the hospital room, but twisted, everything darker, sharper, wounds in the walls. And Liam's mother stood there, holding the same rusted nail. "Do you want to confess, Liam? Or should we pull it from your tongue?" Liam turned and ran straight into the mirror. It didn't hurt. Not at first. The glass felt like water, but cold. So cold it felt like it burned his skin. He landed in another version of the room. Same bed, same desk, but outside the window, the world was black and white. Like an old photograph. Only the red words on the wall had color. "Tell the truth, or stay here forever." He heard sobbing. Not from outside, but from inside himself. He turned slowly, and saw a version of himself, curled in the corner, younger, maybe 12, arms wrapped around his knees, eyes wide. "I heard her scream," the younger Liam whispered. "I knew she was burning. I didn't move. I didn't save her." Liam fell to his knees. His younger self looked up. "I told them she died in her sleep, but I heard her. I heard everything." That's when the mirror cracked. The boy reached into his mouth, pulled out a tooth. No, not a tooth, a key, covered in blood. "You want out. Say it." Liam took the key with trembling fingers. "Say what?" he whispered. His reflection leaned in through the mirror behind him, eyes black, smile wide. "Say what you did." The room began to shatter. The walls trembled. Faces pushed through the mirror. Hands reached out. His mother, Jason, Clara, himself. All of them screaming, one word, "Confess." Liam clutched the key and screamed. "I left them. The mirror cracked. I let Jason scream. Shards flew. I lied about my mother. The black and white world began to fall apart. I told Clara the house wasn't haunted, and she never left. A final scream, then silence. He woke in a forest. Damp soil beneath him. The air was cold, real. He sat up, disoriented, and looked around. A house stood nearby, old Victorian, falling apart, and in the window, a single mirror behind the glass, stood Dr. Whitlock, smiling, holding the rusted nail, and behind her, Clara, eyes, empty, face, wet with tears. She mouthed one word, help. Liam stood, took a deep breath, walked toward the house where they wait. The front door opened by itself. Liam stood at the threshold of the rotting house. The wind had stopped, but leaves rustled inside, as if the decay had its own breath. The air stank of ash and vinegar. He stepped in. The floor groaned beneath him like something shifting, not wood, but bones. The inside was familiar. To familiar. This was his childhood home, rebuilt in the wrong place, wrong time. Welcome home, came a voice. Dr. Whitlock sat at the old dining table. Clara was beside her, unmoving. Her eyes stared ahead, but she wasn't seeing. Liam rushed to her, shaking her gently. Clara, it's me. I'm here now. No response, only a slow tear rolled down her cheek. Dr. Whitlock's smile was as sharp as the nail in her hand. You can't help her, not until you finish what you started. Liam turned toward her. What are you? You're not a therapist. None of this is real, she whispered. Liam, you called us. Every lie you told, every truth you buried, you carved a door into our world. The lights flickered. Jason stood at the staircase. The boy from the closet, now older than when he died, eyes still sewn shut. He pointed upward. The game ends upstairs. Liam's breath came fast. What game? The reflection game, Dr. Whitlock said. You've played before, remember, but this time, you either finish it, or you stay here, forever. A thud echoed upstairs, then another footsteps, not one person, many many looked at. Clara, her lips barely moved. Don't trust the mirrors. He turned back toward the staircase. Jason was gone, only shadows waited above. The first step burned. Liam climbed slowly, each stair colder than the last. The house changed with every step, like layers of old wallpaper peeling away, revealing older, darker patterns beneath. By the time he reached the second floor, the walls bled. No, not blood. Ink. Black. Oily fluid that dripped down. Words etched in the wallpaper. Words he remembered writing as a child. I hate her. She's always crying. I wish they'd both disappear. Why can't I be alone? Liam turned. His reflection stood in a mirror at the end of the hall, smirking, not mirroring his movements. Instead, it pointed at a door. Jason's old room. It was ajar. A dim red light pulsed from inside. Liam's hand trembled as he pushed it. Open. Inside was a circle of mirrors. Dozens. All sizes. All facing inward, toward an empty child's chair. But the mirrors didn't show Liam. They showed everyone else. Clara, tied to a bed and screaming. His mother, crawling across a burning floor. Jason, banging on a closet door with bloody fists. And finally, Dr. Whitlock, standing behind him. He turned around. No one there. The whisper came from the mirrors. Only the guilty may speak. A nail appeared in Liam's hand. It wasn't just metal. It pulsed like a heartbeat. The walls whispered again. Confess, or stay. He backed away, breathing hard. I've already confessed. I said I lied. I said I left them. No. The mirrors hissed. Not the real sin. The mirror beside him shattered. Inside the frame was Clara's phone. The screen lit up. A video began playing. Liam stared in horror. The footage was grainy, but unmistakable. It showed him talking to Dr. Whitlock. Not in the hospital. In the basement of the old house. Dr. Whitlock handed him a mirror shard. This will bind her here. She'll stay, and you'll be free. Liam, the version in the video looked broken, lost, and she won't die. Only if you lie again. The video cut to Clara, in the house, screaming his name. A mirror behind her glowed, then swallowed her whole. Liam staggered back. He did this. Not just lied. He used Clara. He made a deal. He traded her soul to escape the ghosts. A voice echoed behind him. Now you remember. Dr. Whitlock stepped into the mirror room, holding a mirror like a tray. Jason followed, eyes unsewn, but instead of rage, they were filled with something worse. Disappointment. "You didn't just leave me," he said. "You offered her instead." Dr. Whitlock held out the mirror. "Speak the truth, or see it repeated, over and over, forever." Liam's hands shook as the nail in his hand grew heavier. Clara's voice filled the mirrors now. "Why did you let me stay? Why did you lie when you knew they'd take me?" Liam dropped to his knees. "Because I was afraid," he whispered. The mirrors cracked. "Because I didn't want to die." A deeper crack, splitting the floor. "Because I thought you were strong enough to survive what I couldn't." The mirrors shattered. A wind howled through the room. Dr. Whitlock screamed, her form flickering. Jason reached for the chair in the center. "You finished the game." A final choice appeared. 2 mirrors remained. One showed Liam walking free, Clara gone. The other showed him staying, while Clara stepped out. Liam looked at Jason. "If I go, she's trapped forever." Jason nodded. Liam stared at the exit, then looked at Clara's reflection. She was curled in the burning closet. "Help me." He took a deep breath, let her go. The house collapsed. Screams turned to whispers, whispers into silence. Then, daylight. Real daylight. Clara blinked awake. On the lawn of the abandoned hospital beside her was a single broken mirror. Inside it, Liam, smiling, at peace. They never really leave. The sky over the asylum was pale blue, too bright, too peaceful. It didn't match the coldness in Clara's chest. She lay on the crumbling front steps, the wind gently lifting her hair. The broken mirror sat beside her. Liam's face had been there, just seconds ago, smiling, at peace. Now, the surface was empty, just glass and dust. Just she whispered his name, Liam. Nothing, not even an echo. She sat up slowly, her muscles sore, skin covered in ash and dried blood. The world was silent, too silent, as if the place were holding its breath. She stood, unsteady. He saved me, he stayed, he took my place. The weight of that truth crushed her chest. She had begged him for help, and when he finally came, he'd already known. He'd come to fix what he broke. Clara looked at the asylum behind her. It was collapsing now. The roof sagged inward. The windows were dark, all but one. The top right window. Room 413. Her room. A figure stood there. Dr. Whitlock, watching her, still smiling. Clara stumbled backward. "No, you're gone. You're done." The door creaked open behind her. She didn't want to look, didn't want to go back, but her body moved, anyway, as if called. Inside the halls were empty. No blood, no shadows, no screaming, just decay. But something had changed. The walls were covered in names. Dozens, hundreds, scrawled in chalk, scratched into the paint, burned into the wood. Some were familiar. She found her own. Clara Monroe, then Jason Whitlock, Liam Harper, and then Dr. Eliza Whitlock. Underneath hers was a message: the ones who speak, stay. The ones who sacrifice, return. Her breath caught. Return. Did that mean Liam? She turned to leave, but the hallway changed. Again, she wasn't in the hospital anymore. She was in the living room of the house, the one she and Liam had explored. The mirrors had returned, all of them, unbroken reflections, moving out of sync. The TV turned on by itself. Static first. Then a news broadcast, but it was wrong. It wasn't from now. It was dated next week. Local woman found wandering Highway 17, unable to recall past 2 years. Authorities believe she escaped a therapy facility. The building was found burned to the ground. No survivors. The screen flickered. A photo of her appeared. Clara stared in horror. No survivors, but she'd survived, hadn't she? Unless she never left. The mirrors cracked one by one behind them. Scenes played out. A nurse dragging a screaming patient. A boy clawing at a closet. Liam sitting in the dark, whispering apologies. Then Clara curled in a chair, still silent, eyes wide. Unblink. It wasn't her now. It was her body, left behind in the asylum. Clara touched her arm. She felt cold, too cold. "You never left," came a voice. Dr. Whitlock stepped out of a mirror. "You think sacrifice ends the game? No, dear. The house keeps what it needs. You left your body behind. You walked through the door, but that door wasn't meant for you." Clara backed away. "But Liam, he stayed. He took my place." "No." The doctor smiled. "He delayed the cycle. The curse adapts. You're not free. Just next." The mirrors closed in around her. Her scream caught in her throat. Dr. Whitlock's eyes gleamed. This place needs a new host, one who remembers, one who can guide the next. The house rumbled, the floor opened beneath her. She fell into light, into sound, into whispers. Clara woke up in bed, clean sheets, soft pillow, morning sunlight. She gasped, sitting up. A woman in scrubs looked at her, startled. "Oh, you're awake." Finally, Clara blinked. "Where?" "Mercy West Hospital. You were found on Route 17. You've been out for 2 days." Clara's heart pounded. "The asylum." Liam, the nurse, hesitated. "There was a fire. Nothing left of the building. They say it was condemned for years. Years. I need to see someone, please." "A mirror. Do you have a mirror?" The nurse blinked. "We don't keep mirrors in recovery." "Of course you don't." Clara didn't sleep that night. She kept hearing Liam's voice, calling, warning. She knew the curse wasn't over. It had just reset. 1 week later, Dr. Whitlock's practice reopened. New location. New building. New name. The Reflection Wellness Retreat. They offered trauma healing for the emotionally broken, grief, guilt, abandonment. There, flyer read, "Not every wound is visible, but every reflection tells the truth." Inside the glossy pamphlet, a smiling therapist. Dark eyes, familiar smile, and beside her, a new assistant. Clara. Expression blank, eyes glassy. Like a reflection, trapped in glass, waiting. Final line chilling. Closer. She escaped the asylum, but not the mirror, and now she's the one inviting others in. The end.